Good afternoon and welcome to today's update on the modernization efforts underway at NASS. I'm Brian Combs, Chief of Staff at NASS and one of the project champions for our data dissemination improvement efforts. The spring data users meeting, NASS's modernization plans were shared. While tremendous progress has been made on all projects we're currently working on, today's primary focus will be on our dissemination. However, I would like to share a few quick updates on the progress being made by other NASS modernization projects. NASS has a vision to be recognized as a modern, innovative, customer-focused organization that readily adapts cutting-edge technology, engages its world-class workforce to produce the most trusted and useful statistics on all aspects of U.S. agriculture. To accomplish this, a few strategic initiatives have been identified. One is creating a data collection dashboard. This new and improved respondent portal offers a customized experience. It will provide access to weather data, previously reported data, and sign-in options allowing seamless transitions between NASS and other USDA websites. We have also been expanding our geospatial program known as IMAGES. IMAGES stands for Integrated Modeling and Geospatial Estimation System. This project leverages a much wider variety of data simultaneously. It enhances NASS's estimates by increasing coverage of the NASS sampling frame. It leverages all available data and improves the timeliness and quality of our estimates. Now moving to the data dissemination update. Over the last 2 years, a team of NASS staff have been working with outside experts to redesign our data structure, making it more intuitive to access and easier to use. This work has allowed us to develop new ways to present and release data to the public, such as creating topic landing pages. These pages will provide an overview of available data, integrate with other web content, provide highlights, including statistical quality measures associated with the data, and direct data users to related or popular data sets. The first of these landing pages has been created for dairy-related data. It includes data from the current milk production, dairy products, cold storage, agricultural prices, cattle, livestock slaughter, and organic reports. Here are a few examples of what you might find on a topic landing page. We'll have brief text describing the data, interactive charts, a description of what's contained within the data release, and keywords associated with the data set. You also notice you'll have the ability to search and filter the data. Tables will be easy to download or export, and links to the statistical methodology will be made available and easy to find. The landing pages will also highlight related data of interest. These topic landing pages will be driven by an enhanced API. The enhanced API will increase the accessibility of our data, whether the user is most interested in timeliness, the ability to subset it down to what is contained within a specific report or release, or pull large data sets for external analysis. Data users will enjoy improved documentation that will be found on multiple areas of the NASS, or highlighted in multiple areas of the NASS website, as shown here on the screen. A data dictionary will also be made available so the users can see all available data items. Data tables and search are another area of improvement. Data will be presented in a tidy format, which will simplify the creation of visualizations. The data will also be easy to export in a more usable, friendly format. If we look at an example, you will notice that many of the descriptors associated with the data have been removed from the data tables. These have been moved into a data dictionary. This change will allow data visualizations to be streamlined and will easily integrate with common visualization tools and even support the automated analysis packages available through common spreadsheets such as Excel and Google Sheets. The new data search functions are more intuitive to the users. Users can easily select data items of interest, time periods, and geographic level. The results can be easily downloaded in multiple formats, and the data can be easily shared. The dairy data discussed today is the first to move into the new way of disseminating our data. In early 2022, we plan to publicly launch the new dairy landing page. By the end of 2022, we plan to add economic, field crops, additional livestock items, and aquaculture. In 2023, we are planning for horticulture, floriculture, demographics, poultry, fruit and nuts, and vegetables. In 2024, we will conclude this project by bringing in the remaining chemical use and Census of Agriculture data. I'd like to thank you for your time today, and I'd like to take a moment to introduce my fellow panelists, and then we'll open up for any questions. I am joined today by Tony Dorn, Chief, the Environmental, Economic, and Demographic Branch, and fellow project champion for this work. Jackie Ross, the head of the Data Dissemination Office and project manager for this project. King Whetstone, director, the Northeastern Regional Field Office and project manager for these efforts. Eric Norris is the technical design lead in the estimation and dissemination services section and the technical lead for this project. Thank you, and I'll now open up for questions. Okay, one of the slides mentioned 578 common land unit data. Are the CLU data available to the public, or are they intended to be going forward? We will have to circle back on that question. I think that was an update through our images work, and I'm not for sure on the availability of those publicly at this point. So, but we will have that in the posted Q&A following this. And will QuickStats be retired once NASS undergoes these changes? So yes, QuickStats will be retired at some point in the future. We anticipate that we'll be doing some parallel between QuickStats and the new system while we work through making sure everything is up and running and we get all commodities moved into to that. I'll also mention that currently we anticipate that we know a lot of users currently utilize our API, that we think we can have some level of support for the current API as we build the new API structure, so that will continue for at least some period of time.
I see in the chat that Marie said she's glad to see an emphasis on our searching. Yes, we are focusing on this experience that our data users will receive as they work with this new platform. So our hope is to make our data more accessible and user-friendly.
Eric, we have a question that maybe I'll direct to you. Will all my APIs that I have established need to be rebuilt?
Sure. The goal is to provide, like Brian said, some backwards compatibility for those, and at the very least, a migration path for anyone using the current API endpoints to utilize the future ones. We're not 100% settled on exactly what that looks like just yet, but there will be a path forward for those who are using our APIs, because I know we do have a lot of very heavy API users. And so we're definitely taking that into consideration. And I want to take this opportunity to solicit feedback on APIs as they currently stand and API endpoints you might like to see in the future that might help you. That's something we would definitely appreciate and take into consideration as we move forward with this as well.
Are you planning to use infographics to showcase the data? So yes, we are anticipating that we will have some visualizations, infographics, other things that will appear. One of the other efforts that I didn't mention today that's just getting underway is a website modernization effort that's a little bit behind us, but we anticipate that we will be heavily integrated with that and really be able to showcase a lot of our data through visualizations, infographics, other things. So we're looking forward to those. Okay. In the October crop report, NASS did not adjust corn, sorghum, or soybean area as it has in the past. Okay, so I am going to.
I can take that one, Brian.
Yeah, you want to take that one, Joe? So.
We didn't. I think, as we said in our gray box note on the front of the release, we did not adjust corn, soybean, sorghum, or soybean area because we took a change. The data were quite complete, and we made any changes that we felt we needed to in September, and didn't see evidence that we needed to make a change in October. We have essentially a live connection with FSA, and so we have that data available to us. The issue that, as Mike Walter, if you were in the general session, relayed was not related to any of those crops that delayed their release of the 578 data. Brian, if I could, I want to a follow-up question. Will NASS keep its previous schedule of adjusting rice cotton area in September? I would expect so. And then corn, sorghum, and soy in the October crop production report. The question about whether we'll go back to October or not really depends on how complete the data are from FSA. And so I think, as we relayed in our note in the gray box of that release, it was evaluation. I mean, the window is open for us to take that. I think that if we think the data are complete enough and we can, make any needed adjustments earlier, we should, bring that information to bear into the public. So, and yes, we will try to keep things clear. And in fact, we did an ASB notice, and Dan Crestis can correct me if I'm wrong, but right on or about the 1st of September. So so folks knew, and there was public notice many days in advance that we would be making considering acreage changes. I should say that.
That's a good point, Joe. We're pretty transparent in what we're doing. The option to adjust those commodities is there every September and every October. It's whether or not we utilize it, but the revision or adjustment is always there. And so I think the main thing is we're even trying to be more transparent in the last year or so by attaching these gray boxes on the front of every release, where we're even sometimes when we're not making changes, we put a gray box on there letting people know that we're not making changes. So NASS is doing everything it can, but of course we're always open to suggestions from the data users. If you guys out there, ladies and gentlemen, have a better way for us to make these things known to you, please feel free to send us an email, give me a call, me or Joe. I think either one of us are willing to talk to any of you. So just keep that in mind. NASS is always trying to do the best it can in customer service. So please stay on us.
Yep, and I noticed the link to that press release, or the ASB notice rather, has been placed in the chat, so if you have an interest. And Brian, if you don't mind, since I have the floor, I'll say one more comment. That there was a question on one of the slides you showed that mentioned the 578/common land unit data. Are the CLU data available to the public, or are they intended to be going forward? Strictly speaking, the CLU data are not public that as a result of the 2008 Farm Bill, and I think that was reiterated in subsequent Farm Bills. That being said, NASS has access to those data as a statistical agency, and we make use of those data. I would say separately, and I don't believe this product is visible yet, but there has been a collaborative effort between NASS, ERS, and some other folks to produce, and I'm going to get the name wrong, but it's a boundary layer that is predominantly based on our cropland data layer. It is not a CLU layer, but it shows sort of fields or what might be thought of as field level boundaries. And that product will be available to researchers, probably in our geospatial pages. So
Joe,
be on the lookout for that.
Joe, I can help you there. That's going to be called crop sequencing boundaries.
Thank you. Yes.
And we'll be coming out with those. Those will be made public, but right now we're still in the final stages of going through some agreements with the 3 agencies that are participating. So please hang tight on that before you start searching for
it. Thanks, Dean.
All right, and I think Eric has the next one that he would like to cover for us. So when approximately will the transition from QuickStats take place? And then Eric, we had another question that I also posed to you at the same time, that will the bulk data files be available after the transition?
Okay, so the way I envision the transition happening from QuickStats is not until we have the complete data set available in Druid would we really sunset QuickStats. And this is kind of my opinion, my perspective, but I think it would be very disruptive to have a split data set, partial in QuickStats, partial in Druid. So that's something we're being very mindful of. When exactly that would happen, that's kind of TBD. This is a pretty long project, as Brian showed in the slides, so the actual date, can't put a pin in it just yet, but that's at least my philosophy, is that I wouldn't want to see QuickStats decommissioned until we were able to fully transition to the future product. As far as the bulk files being available, again, I might sound like a broken record. That's kind of to be determined, and that's because of we need to find out if we can service the data user requests through the APIs. Right now QuickStats has a 50,000 row limit. That sort of led to us making all of the data available in one bulk dump. We're not opposed to it, certainly, but we're going to have to see, once we get our API endpoints up and running, if we can service all of the data requests that we have. If not, then for sure we're going to make sure that you can get the data you need and how you need it.
Hey, Brian, I'd like to add to that transition from QuickStats. Once you get into what we're trying to do, you'll notice the magnitude of this project. And so patience will be the key. Obviously, we're trying to really simplify or enhance that customer experience. And sometimes that can be very difficult and painstaking. So with the transition, right, we just ask that you be patient. And as the chart that Brian showed, as far as the dates that we're trying to implement most of this, it'll be a couple of years. So just be patient, and we'll still be able to provide the data that you need and in the format that you want, but that transition will take some time.
Yeah, thanks, King. And then the next question kind of leads into to that one as well. So this is a big project. Are the basic monthly NASS production data will be available as normal without a landing page or landing pad? So yes, it will. We will continue to release data in the current form and fashion until we have a smooth process for releasing the data through our new dissemination system. So as we mentioned, now our kind of pilot with this project was dairy related data. So we took a somewhat broad section of various types of data to build ultimately the infrastructure that all this lives in, all the behind the scenes that you don't really get to see, but it's what's allowing us to create these new landing pages, the enhancements to the API, et cetera, in our data structure. So our current plan, as you noticed from the data sets we used, milk production is one that's kind of completely contained within our scope of our project, is that somewhere in early 2021, we'll be able to start releasing the milk production data through this new process. So we hope that, somewhere hopefully early spring, we can start having that running parallel, or early in the year we can run it parallel, and then move into fully releasing the milk production data through this. And we're going to have some user testing in there, so we'll likely be reaching out to some of you and your colleagues to get some feedback on how the system looks, how things are functioning before we fully make that transition. So, but there'll be plenty of notice and plenty of time so that our users will understand how to get the data when it is available. But our hope is that this will be a much more user-friendly process for you guys to come in and get that milk production data when we go that route, and really probably be wanting more faster than we can churn it out. So as King mentioned, please be patient as we do work through the large amount of data we have to kind of convert and work through.
And to expand on sort of that last part, as normal without a landing pad, we do envision an ad hoc querying interface as well. So even if we don't specifically highlight it somewhere else, that we still envision you being able to access all of the data through the web interface, just as you do with QuickStats now.
Okay.
I would like to entertain the question from Karen. Will all the data currently available in QuickStats at a minimum be available in the new system? Will we lose anything? And suggestion would be to give users a very loud heads up whenever the transition happens. Karen, yes, we will submit notices in advance, as well as we are doing data user testing along the way. As we implement different phases of this project, we will reach out to some of our data users and get them to test it and see if it's user friendly. The usability of this new system is what's key to us, and to ensure that your experience is key. Hopefully, we will be able to give you additional information, more information. One of the things that QuickStats does not have right now is some of that data attached to the data that identifies where that data come from. So hopefully with this new platform, you will receive additional data and additional support to identify what type of data you're receiving. And
to underscore that, yeah, so will all the data currently available in QuickStats be available? And yeah, the answer is yes. And kind of like I mentioned before, through that ad hoc interface, and as well as through the API, they'll be hitting the same sort of back-end data set. Another thing, well, I lost my train of thought. Apologies. There was another thing. Maybe I'll think of it later.
And then our next question is, will there be new tidy data CSV files to replace, supplement the current text and XML report formats? So the answer is yes. So you'll be able to download that data that's currently contained in reports in a multitude of formats. That could be CSV, text, but there'll be plenty of options there for that.
And that's a good segue, because I remembered what I was going to say, and it kind of ties the two together. The data from QuickStats will be available in the new system, as well as, and Jackie did mention this, we'll be providing more contextual information about it. So QuickStats is right now pure statistics essentially, and we're working hard to try to bring in some of the more contextual data that kind of NASS uses to tell the story as well. So that will be available in the through the web interface API, but also some of it will come out through these tidy data CSVs, and you'll see some of that in there as well.
And I guess Dan or Joe, it looks like we maybe have a follow-up to the earlier question. To understand the data was reviewed in October, but review did not suggest a change.
Exactly.
All right, other questions? Okay, can you repeat the information about field boundaries that will be available?
I think I'll see if Dan will do that, since I can never quite remember the name that's going to be used.
Well, actually, I hesitate to say more at this time as we try to finalize our agreement with the 3 cooperating USDA agencies. But basically, we're working on these crop sequencing boundaries, and which will provide field level information. However, at this point in time, I think to state more on it would be just to lead everyone astray, because the details aren't out yet. And I think we just need to be patient with that, and we'll have something coming out in the near future, getting to all data users at the same time. And as usual with NASS, keeping everything fair among everyone. So thank you.
So Brian, we have a question in the chat. How are we included on the notification list for the release of dairy in the new system?
Right. So that is a good question. We haven't really worked out our full plan of communication for when that system becomes available yet, but we will be working on that with our public affairs team in the coming months. Likely, if you subscribe to NASS news releases or keep watch on our website, it'll be highlighted pretty heavily there, and we may approach some other avenues to get that out. I know our public affairs team has been using social media a lot more these days, so they will probably advertise through that. So yeah, definitely just keep a watch on our website and the other emails and other things that you receive from us, and you'll see some updates on that in the near future. And Tony, you've been quiet today, so I will. I'm going to kick it to you and put you on the spot and see if there's anything you want to add that we haven't covered. Or
Thank you, Brian. No, everyone's covered everything really well. I think the big thing is to summarize or re-summarize or just give a thought of the day. It is a very big project, and just we've been giving out the releases, producing the releases in PDFs and QuickStats for many years. So us doing something different, it's a big project, a big undertaking, and we're trying to make everything that we do as seamless as possible to customers, to make the transition easy for you as we can, and to provide you everything that we need. So we're put a lot of thought and effort into making sure that happens for you, because change is difficult for us and for you, and we want to make sure the transition goes as well as it can.
yeah, thanks, Tony. Yeah, and that's one thing we've been very cognizant of. We know that you know, the PDFs are nice because it summarizes the data pretty well and kind of makes it digestible, but it's not very user friendly. You know, most people now are wanting to get that into some kind of electronic means so they can actually manipulate the data, do what they would like to do with it. So we've been working and trying to determine how we can kind of satisfy both needs, make it understandable to see what data we have available, but then also make it as user friendly for you guys to consume and use how you need to use it for your day-to-day business. And then we have another question. Do you anticipate fundamental modifications in the data features fields? So I guess maybe Eric, you may want to elaborate on this, but I'll try to take a stab at it. So I'm going to say, as far as like the data we are publishing, we don't anticipate many changes in that. Largely what we're doing is kind of decoupling some of the metadata or descriptive data that's currently attached to the data within our QuickStats environment and moving that to things like a data dictionary to kind of clean up the formats of the tables a little so that, you know, like I said earlier, that it is a little tidier basically and makes it a little easier to consume without having to do a lot of manipulations that, you know, we know your users currently have to do as they're pulling data from QuickStats.
And I don't know if I'm picking up on the nuances of the question correctly, but so it says data features. I'm just going to go off the cuff and interpret it, I guess, in my own way here. But the data features, I mean, you could see that as the API endpoints, and we do anticipate changes in the API endpoints. But at the end of the day, it says fields later. At the end of the day, and I think Brian was alluding to this as well, we're still going to be producing and disseminating the same statistics and the same basis of everything. You might consume it in a bit different way or query it in a little different way, but from the most basic view, it'll be the same data and the same statistics. So I hope that helps.
Okay, we have a few minutes left. Is any more questions? Okay, well, not seeing any more questions in the chat or in the Q&A function. I guess do just a last call for any of the panelists. Do you have any closing remarks that you would like to make? Seeing nothing there, so I'd like to thank you guys for joining us today to hear about this effort. You said plenty of exciting things yet to come, so stay tuned. We look forward to sharing additional project or progress on this project as we continue to move forward into the new year. So with that, I guess we can conclude today's session on our modernization efforts, and hope everyone enjoys the rest of your day and the rest of the data users meeting. So thank you.